On this story, we welcome our international affairs editor, Philip Turle, to the program. Philip, this was President Joe Biden's second time ordering strikes against these militias. The Pentagon has described them as defensive. What more can you tell us about these Iran-backed groups and what their goals are?
So first thing here is that Joe Biden has made it perfectly clear that he is not going to stand for any Iranian-backed militia launching drone attacks against U.S. troops. What are U.S. troops doing in the region? They have two jobs there. The first one is to train Iraqi forces to fight against Islamic State, and at the same time to stay on the ground there, also to defend the Iraqis against the threat of jihadists. There is a move to pull U.S. troops out of Iraq as soon as possible. That's been delayed several times because of the threat of the jihadists. So what Joe Biden is saying here to Iran is, you can't launch attacks against our troops and get away with it. If you do, then we are going to fight against you or launch attacks against you. In reply to your other question about these groups, there are two groups. One is called Kata'ib Hezbollah, which has already been designated as a terrorist organization by the United States since 2009. And the other one is Kata'ib Sayyid al-Shuhada, which is also an Iraqi militia group which is backed by Iran. Now, what we see here also is a link between the killing last year of the Iranian general Qasem Soleimani, which was ordered by the then US President Donald Trump, because in that same strike, the leader of Kata'ib Hezbollah, Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, was also killed. So this is the United States saying to Iran, you cannot attack our soldiers and get away with it. We are going to retaliate. And I think along the same line almost as what Donald Trump would have done had he been still in office.
So Iraq's government has responded today condemning the strikes, and there have also been calls for revenge from Iraqi armed factions. Joe Biden, if he's trying to send a message here to these militia groups, is he also creating a whole new set of problems?
Well, I think that the reaction from Iraq was to be expected. It is quite rare that Iraq would react against the United States. They call it a breach of sovereignty because the United States is attacking within Iraqi territory, like it did one strike in Iraq and two strikes within Syria. But I think that these Iranian-backed militia for the Iraqi government are a headache, fly in the ointment, if you like, and they will be quite pleased to be rid of them. So the bottom line is I think that they don't have the means to fight against these militia themselves, so they need the United States to do that. But all of this is taking place at the same time, Charlie, as negotiations are carrying on with the United States over the Iranian nuclear agreement. And I think what Joe Biden, the US president, is trying to convey as a message here is we're going to compartmentalize this into two things. First, the US action in Iraq to fight against militia and fight against the Islamic State, and also at the other end, then there are the talks with Iran over the setting up again of the Iranian nuclear agreement, which the previous president, Donald Trump, pulled out of. Things are not going very well there either at the moment, and there was some expression of dismay last week from the United States that, as far as they're concerned, they're going to persevere with trying to get this Iranian nuclear accord back on the rails, but if they can't, then they'll pull out of it and they won't bother anymore.
International Affairs editor Philip Turle, thanks so much for helping us understand this complicated story.